Hello everyone, and welcome back to Used and Untold, the channel where we unlock the hidden stories behind the everyday objects you thought you knew. Today I'm holding in my hand something so ordinary that most of us barely notice it, yet it has quietly shaped the fate of cities, guarded the treasures of kings, and transformed alongside human civilization for thousands of years. The key. At first glance, it's just a small piece of metal or a simple card, a thing that opens something shut. But in its teeth and notches lies a history stretching from carved bone to biometric scanners. Let's travel together, back to a time when there were no metal keys jingling in pockets, only the problem of keeping what was yours safe from others. Around 4,000 years ago, in the lands of ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia, the earliest locks and keys appeared, not forged from steel, but carved from wood. Imagine a heavy wooden bolt across a storeroom door, held fast by pins that dropped into holes, and a long wooden key shaped almost like a comb that would lift those pins to slide the bolt free. These keys were enormous, sometimes nearly half a meter long, and carrying one was less like slipping it into your pocket and more like walking with a wooden baton. But in Egypt, a key was not something to hide, it was a status symbol. The bigger and more elaborate it was, the more it signaled the wealth you had behind that door. Keys were worn proudly on belts like ornaments of power. As centuries passed, the Greeks improved the mechanics, but it was the Romans who shrank the key into something practical and durable by crafting it from bronze and iron. They turned it into an everyday tool that could also serve as personal adornment. Wealthy Roman women wore their keys as rings, not just for convenience, but to signal ownership and authority. Some were engraved with symbols of protection, others shaped like gods believed to guard against theft. To wear a key was to proclaim that you possessed something worth protecting. In medieval Europe, the key's role took on an even more strategic weight. As castles rose and cities fortified themselves, locksmiths became highly valued artisans, sworn to secrecy about the complex wards and mechanisms they designed. Keys grew larger again, forged in iron with intricate patterns meant to thwart intruders. But the theft or copying of a single key could bring down entire strongholds. There are stories of spies who trained as locksmiths' apprentices, memorizing the precise shapes of gate keys, then handing that knowledge to enemy armies who slipped through castle gates under the cover of darkness. In these times, a key could be as decisive as an army. Then came the Renaissance, an age of art and innovation, and keys became objects of beauty as well as utility. Nobles commissioned locks and keys that were sculpted into shapes of animals, engraved with coats of arms, and decorated with delicate filigree that seemed too fine to be wrought from iron. A key was not merely a tool, it was a work of craftsmanship that spoke of the prestige and resources of its owner. The Industrial Revolution in the 18th and 19th centuries transformed everything. Mass production arrived, and with it came the modern lock in forms we would recognize today. In 1848, Linus Yale Jr. patented the pin tumbler lock, a design so reliable that it remains in use all over the world even now. For the first time, locks could be made in huge numbers with consistent quality, making them affordable for ordinary households. But this also ushered in a new era of competition as locks became more sophisticated. So did the skills of those who tried to pick them. The silent duel between locksmiths and lockpickers became an enduring feature of modern security. By the 20th century, keys had moved beyond doors to vehicles. Car keys, appearing in the early 1900s, soon became a symbol of personal freedom, and by the 1960s, the phrase, handing over the keys, had become a rite of passage for teenagers stepping into adulthood. At the same time, hotels began replacing traditional keys with magnetic keycards in the 1970s, allowing them to reprogram access instantly without changing the lock hardware, something unimaginable in centuries past. Now, in the 21st century, the evolution has taken a dramatic leap. We have entered the era where the key is no longer a thing you carry, but something you are. Biometric security fingerprint scanners, facial recognition, iris scans has turned our very bodies into the keys. This brings incredible convenience and removes the worry of losing a small piece of metal, but it also raises unsettling questions. Who owns the digital copy of your fingerprint? What happens if someone steals that data? The technology that once existed to keep thieves out may now be just as concerned with guarding against invisible threats. From carved wooden pins in dusty Egyptian storerooms, to the steel teeth that turned in castle gates, to the invisible codes stored in our smartphones, the key has mirrored our shifting relationship with security, trust, and ownership. It has been a badge of honor, a target for spies, a product of artistry, and now an invisible code that says, "You belong here." As we look forward 50 years from now, we may find that the physical key exists only as a relic in a museum, a reminder of the days when we needed to carry something tangible to unlock a door. So, the next time you turn a key in your hand, remember that you're holding a story thousands of years in the making. And if you enjoyed unlocking that story with me today, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Used and Untold, and tap the bell icon, so you never miss another journey into the hidden past of the everyday objects all around us. And if you really want to help this channel grow, share this video with a friend, because history is even more fascinating when it's opened and shared.